Hallo und willkommen zurück, Kreaturen der Nacht. Es geht weiter mit Vampyr. Süß. Raus aus unserem Versteck, mitten rein in Whitechapel. Wir müssen jetzt immer noch unsere Quest hier absolvieren. Genau, finde die Anwohner von Whitechapel. Jetzt wollte ich nämlich gucken, haben wir Informationen über die? Nö. Das heißt, wir müssen uns erstmal umgucken und schauen. Oh. Das wollte ich nicht, aber mein Blut ist voll. So, dann gucken wir uns mal um. Uns werden jetzt schon die Richtungen angezeigt. Wer bist du denn? Kennen wir den? Nee.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reid, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Hello, sir. You get out of my way. Crack your skull.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Weil ich hoffe, mir noch ein paar Informationen zu bekommen über Dorothy Crane. Vielleicht etwas, das wir noch nicht wissen.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Persönliche Fragen fehlen uns leider Hinweise. Got it.
Bye.
Okay.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reid. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Du hast doch gerade eh nichts zu tun, also quatsch ruhig mit mir. Passt schon.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Ist eine gute Schwester, klar. Entschuldigen Sie die Migranten. Beschuldigen Sie die Migranten. Sie versucht nur zu helfen.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Ja, mein Hinweis.
How is business around here?
Business? I had no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Okay, da haben wir Informationen über Joe Peterson.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever. madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Okay, interessante Informationen. Da und ich habe eine neue Quest. Plunder und mehr.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Klingt nach Vampiren. Okay, wir haben leider keine Hinweise. Hatte ich nicht was freigeschaltet? Handeln.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Was hat denn der gute Mann? Er hat genau den Kram, den ich brauche. Und ich habe kein Geld. Das ist natürlich sehr unvorteilhaft für mich, aber lässt sich aktuell leider nicht ändern. Ich habe auch leider nichts, was ich ihm verkaufen könnte. Handlung gegen Bronchitis. Achso, ja, stimmt, hatte ich mir hergestellt. Das könnte ich verkaufen. $71. Was brauche ich denn? Ein Griff halt, ne? Teil eines gewöhnlichen Abzugs. Meine Knarren zu verbessern halt. Das für die Nahkampfwaffen. Okay, mit ihm haben wir gequatscht. Da ist ein Priester. Da ist noch jemand. So, wen haben wir denn jetzt schon hier alles kennengelernt? Barrett Lewis. Joe Peterson. Über den haben wir noch Infos bekommen. Wo ist der eigentlich hin? Da hinten ist er.
You're late. You again?
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle.
Wet Boot Boys, die kennen wir ja schon. Überleben ist ein Naturgesetz. Sie hätten sich weigern können. Ein Krimineller. Überleben ist ein Naturgesetz, ja. Wer recht hat.
You survive at any cost, even at the expense of others. Perhaps that's just the law of nature.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons. And that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Aha. Die waren mal Freunde.
Goodbye, Mr.
Ja, dann können wir mit ihm gerade auch nochmal quatschen.
Fancy bye.
You never lose your... Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Trauen ist niemals leicht. Verzweiflung kann ein Gift sein. Er ist bloß ein Feigling. Verzweiflung kann ein Gift sein. Ja.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against the wet boot boy.
Außer mir. Aber sie wissen nicht, was ich bin. Okay, dann sind hier noch zwei Boys. Dann quatschen wir mal mit denen. Das ist zwar nicht mein Ziel, aber Dann haben wir mehr Leute in Whitechapel gefunden.
Familiar with this part of town. Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reid.
Dr. Reid, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Über eine geheime Apotheke. Ihre Untersuchung in London. Und noch Hinweis hierfür. Keine Zeitung berichtet über die Epidemie?
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Ja, ist ein Punkt. Eine Schande, dass es kriminell ist. Ist nur logisch. Eigentlich ist es nur logisch, weil das würde die Moral der Leute halt natürlich senken und dementsprechend würde halt keiner in den Krieg ziehen. Was aber auch nicht passieren sollte. Das ist eine Schande.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Keine Angst, nachts vor die Tür zu gehen?
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
Es gibt eine rationale Erklärung. Mein Rationalismus wurde erschüttert. Ist es nicht bloß eine Epidemie?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
I don't know. Das werden wir noch rausfinden.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
Sie riskieren ihr Leben für die Wahrheit? Klar.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
Okay. Interessiert sich das Volk dafür?
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Okay. Persönliche Fragen. Fehlen uns leider die Hinweise. Über eine geheime
I
Apotheke.
heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
Eine Schwester ist in Machenschaften verwickelt. Das ist vertraulich. Interessiere mich das Gesundheitswesen.
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious, never goes out, doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
Er geht nie aus. Das könnte schwierig werden.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Okay, interessant.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He
Cleverer
was
Typ,
in his
ne?
mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Okay, verstehe.
Goodbye.
Das war's auch schon. So, Richard. Finde den Briefkasten und den Brief. So, was ist mit unserem Pater hier? Der macht die ganze Zeit Gestikulierungen.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reid, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Wissenschaft und Kirche, ja.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Okay, eine neue Quest, der heilige Kreuzzug.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Dann hat er sich noch nie mit Vampiren angelegt. Okay, steht schlecht um mich?
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Ich höre.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your
Erzählen Sie mir mehr.
truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Was ist Ihr Plan?
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Wir haben eine Info erhalten. Yay. Wie genau werden Sie diese Stadt reinigen?
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Muss gleich kotzen. Die Wissenschaft ist unsere einzige Hoffnung. Doch wo ziehen wir die Grenze? Wir leben im 20. Jahrhundert. Ja, eben. Doch wo ziehen wir die Grenze? Das wüsste ich gerne von ihm.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool.
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Noch mehr Infos. Wir sind gut dabei.
What do you mean?
Also,
Quite a job.
well, you,
Well,
as a dog,
what do you mean?
the beast.
I have...
Gut. Clayton leidet an Erschöpfung, okay. Da können wir mal Mittelchen für brauen. Das dürfte nicht allzu schwierig sein. Cool. So, lass mal schauen. Wie sieht's denn aus? Wir haben... Erfolgreich. Gut. Echt? Achso. Der Heilige Kreuzzug. Finde den Jünger Samuel auf dem Friedhof. Wunder und mehr. Finde das Paket. Okay, alles klar. Machen wir noch. Wie sieht's denn eigentlich so um St. Mary's aus? St. Mary's Pembroke. Gesund. Yay. Bedenklich. Das werden wir ändern. Aber wir haben schon einige Leute jetzt gefunden. Was ist mit ihr hier? Die kennen wir nicht.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reid.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Wir haben noch mehr Infos über sie bekommen. Nämlich, dass ihr wahrer Name gar nicht Dorothy Crane ist. Wir leben in London. Über ihre Gesundheit.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed. Or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Ihre Karriere bringt viele Gesundheitsrisiken. Er birgt viele. Was ist mit der Gesundheit Ihrer Kunden?
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else?
Wenn sie
you
wüsste,
have
was
never
ich für einen Hunger habe.
suffered from?
Nach Blut. Oh mein Gott.
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Persönlich. Erzählen Sie mir von sich.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
Ich verurteile Sie nicht. Versuchen Sie eine andere Arbeit zu finden. Ihre Entscheidung, Ihren Körper zu verkaufen.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
Brauche noch mehr Hinweise. Persönliche Fragen. Achso, nee. Leben.
Christina,
I don't like.
considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
Okay. Mehr bekommen wir aus ihr leider nicht raus. Sie hat Erschöpfung, okay. Keine Sorge, wir werden wieder in Kämpfe reinkommen und ein bisschen umslaughtern. Aber zuerst muss ich mich hier um ein paar Dinge kümmern. Blumenstrauß, ein kleiner Blumenstrauß. Ein Gutschein für eine kostenlose medizinische Untersuchung ist zwischen den Blumen versteckt. Ach, guck an.
Good evening, Miss. I'm Dr. Reid. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
Ich weiß, dass du für Schwester Dorothy arbeitest.
Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
Ja, aber aus ihr bekomme ich gar nichts raus. Ah. Gut, Gut, das ist verschlossen, da komme ich leider nicht durch. So, wo muss ich denn hin? Ich muss zurück, ich muss da hinter die Kirche, aber die Tür ist verschlossen. Wie komme ich denn da rein? Wie macht das? Wie verteilt hier die Zettel?
It's locked.
Die Tür lässt sich von der anderen Seite öffnen, okay, aber durch die Kirche kann ich höchstwahrscheinlich nicht. Ich gehe in Flammen auf. Das heißt, ich muss einen anderen Weg auf die andere Seite der Kirche finden. Ich muss einmal hier quasi rum. Finde den Briefkasten und den Brief. Ist das hier? Muss hier sein. Briefkasten. Ah! Da ist Petrescus Brief. Meine lieben Kinder, es tut mir so leid, dass ihr einige Monate lang nichts von mir gehört habt. Die Lage in London war schwierig. Ich weiß, es klingt vielleicht egoistisch und töricht, wenn ihr meine Kinder noch in einem Land lebt, das vom Krieg heimgesucht wird. Aber auch hier in England tobt ein Krieg. Ein Krieg gegen Armut und Ungerechtigkeit. Diesen Krieg will ich trotz meines fortgeschrittenen Alters führen. Deshalb schreibe ich euch heute. Ich werde nicht nach Rumänien zurückkehren. Das bedeutet, ich sehe euch wahrscheinlich nicht wieder, bevor ich sterbe. Seid nicht traurig, meine Lieben. Ihr seid mittlerweile erwachsen und habt selbst Kinder. Ihr wisst, welche Opfer wir manchmal bringen müssen, um die Welt zu einem besseren Ort zu machen. Und dieses muss ich nun bringen, damit ich mich noch ein letztes Mal nützlich fühlen kann. Ich wünsche euch ein langes und glückliches Leben. Gebt meinen Enkel einen Kuss von mir und vergesst nicht, dass euer Vater euch auch weit ab der kalten Heimat liebt. Euer euch ewig liebender Vater, Darius Petrescu.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
Also das habe ich schon gelesen. Ja, das heißt, wir haben weitere Informationen, um ihn quasi zum Reden zu bewegen. Und ich denke mal, unsere Chancen stehen gut, dass er uns reinlassen wird. Komme ich hier durch? Das sieht gut aus. Oh, das wollte ich nicht. Ich brauch Blut, Junge. Alter, der Biss hat ihn getötet. So viel Schaden macht das mittlerweile. Ich glaube, es hat sich schon gelohnt, es zu skillen. Ich glaube, die kleineren Vampire sind nicht mehr wirklich eine Herausforderung für mich. Nur noch große Bosse wahrscheinlich. Quarantäne. Grippe. Betreten Sie diesen Bereich nicht. Im Auftrag des Gesundheitsministeriums, Gesundheitsbeauftragter. Könnte auch nicht rein. Okay, weitere Zettel bezüglich der Grippe. Ja, die Grippe hat schon viele Leben dahin gerafft, deswegen sollten einige nicht so leichtsinnig damit umgehen. Von wegen, oh, ist ja nur eine Grippe. Ja. Mit der Medizin von heute haben wir zum Glück, dass wir es einigermaßen behandeln können.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Das ist ja der Richard. Suchen nach Schwester Dorothy Crane.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
So, da haben wir noch weitere Informationen über ihn, aber mehr können wir ihn darüber nicht fragen. Ihr Leben in London. Was tun Sie hier? Was tun Sie nachts hier? Gute Frage, er tanzt auf Gräbern rum.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
Gedanken über die Lage in London.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Okay. Mesmerisieren kann ich ihn nicht. Eine ziemlich einzigartige Sichtweise, ja, allerdings. Unter diesen Umständen vor allem. Ich sehe nur die fürchterliche Krankheit. Friedliche Stille, wirklich? Ziemlich einzigartige Sichtweise. Ja.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
Es ist hier sehr riskant. Oh ja.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
Ich? Warum? Du bist doch freiwillig hier. Persönliche Frage. Camilla ist Teil einer Verschwörung.
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious camellia.
Sind Sie nicht neugierig?
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercott.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reid.
Klare Aussage. Suchen Sie nach Inspiration in Whitechapel.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Denken Sie nicht, dass das ist ein wenig morbid? Können Sie mir ein Beispiel geben?
In what way exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox, the stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Angst, die Wahrheit über sie rauszufinden? Sie kennen sie nicht?
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Anscheinend ist er nicht so neugierig, wie ich dachte. Ich glaube, wir haben ihn alles gefragt. Gut.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Okay, jetzt können wir im Prinzip das Tor von der Seite öffnen. Yay. Und da ist auch schon die Angebetete von ihm und mit ihr quatschen wir nochmal, weil wir haben noch Informationen.
Hello again, miss.
Ja, du redest nicht. Warte mal ab. Erzähl mir von Richard Nethercott. Mehr haben wir nicht. Das ist das
Tell
Letzte.
me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
Es ist hoffnungslos, ich werde nichts über sie rausfinden. Qualität des Blutes 5000! Aber mesmerisieren 5. Uff. Okay, ich brauche wieder viel Zeug gegen Erschöpfung, wie es aussieht. Bronchitis, ja, weiß ich. Erkältung. Hat sich nicht was gegen Erkältung hergestellt? Oder war es nur die Bronchitis? Gegen Bronchitis, okay.
Very well.
Na gut. Wenn sie nicht reden will, dann ist das so. Gut, wir gehen jetzt nochmal die letzten paar Minuten zurück zu unserer Main Quest. Und dann werden wir in der nächsten Folge ein paar Nebenaufgaben erledigen, um noch ein paar Erfahrungspunkte zu sammeln, um uns zu entwickeln. Über sie habe ich doch auch noch Infos.
Change.
Oder? Die Straßendenne. Nee. Gut, dann klopfen wir mal an.
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again. Go away.
Anstufe 2 benötigt. What? Ich muss Leute aussaugen, um mehr mit ihm ins Gespräch zu kommen?
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Totter.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction.
Vampirüberzeugung.
All right, I'll let you see Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
Okay, wir haben ihn am Schlawittchen. Da ist Petrescus Haus. Okay, dann können wir ihn erstmal beklauen. Gut, liebe Freunde, aber ich würde gut gelaunt sagen, mit Dario Petrescu reden wir das nächste Mal und ich bedanke mich schon mal recht herzlich fürs Zusehen bei dieser Episode von Vampyr und das nächste Mal quatschen wir da mit ihm und Dorothy Crane und werden uns in Whitechapel ein bisschen umsehen und ein paar Nebenaufgaben erledigen. Freut euch drauf, das wird wild. Also, macht's gut, bis zum nächsten Mal bei Vampyr.